Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. So I told you guys that a buddy of mine gave me this 826 MTD Snowblower. I believe the date of manufacturer was 5012. And in Tecumseh speak, that means it was built in 95 or '05, the 12th day. So, I don't know. To me, it doesn't look like it's 23 years old. But it could be 13. So I'm going to say that this is probably a 2005 unit. My guess, if somebody, I mean, you know, given the plastic and all, that's my guess. I'm not quite sure when Tecumseh went out of business, but let's go with 2005. If anybody has any other information to update me, please do. Whenever you get a unknown snowblower, you always ask what's wrong with it. And it apparently has a drive problem. So that's something we need to fix. But the other thing you want to do before you tilt it up and get all involved in that is you want to figure out if the engine's any good. Because if the engine's junk, are you in the mood to put a new engine on it and fix the drive system? Or do you just want to call it junk and, put it up for sale or for parts, or, drag it around back and ignore it until the tires go flat and you need to load it onto your truck with a backhoe because you can't push it anymore? So that always starts with checking the oil. And the oil appears to be full. So that's a good thing. That's the first thing you start with. Do we have, what does the gasoline smell like? Here, smell. Actually smells pretty good. I think this thing, I think he used it last year and broke it last year, maybe at the end of the season, or maybe he broke it first thing this year. Given that the tank isn't quite full, it's about half empty, I'm thinking, or 2/3 empty. I'm thinking he was probably, using it last year, and the drive stopped working. He probably dropped a couple of profanities and rolled it out to his shed. But the next thing I want to do is, once again, before I put any work into the drive, I want to make sure it starts. So let me kind of set the camera up and get a few things in the right place, and we'll do a cold start video. So, time for a cold start. It's got a recoil, or it's got an electric start. Considering that I'm not 20 anymore, let's go with the electric start. So the choke's on, throttle's up, give it a couple of pumps of go juice. The thing is in, should start. So, good. Just in case there's an interlock, there shouldn't be. Like to show. Oh, good, that turns it off. I don't have to pull the pin out. Alright, so the electric starter works, the recoil starter works. It actually starts and it runs. Seems to like a lot of choke. If it's got last year's gas in it, if I put some fresh gas and maybe a little seafoam, maybe that'll help clean up the carburetor without having to beat my way through a rebuild. But all promising so far. Next thing to do is to figure out what's going on with this cable situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt it forward, right? I don't think I'll cause it too much trouble. Maybe I'll put something soft in front of it. I don't want to damage the auger. All that looks good, right? I see the shear pins there. Yeah, let's tilt it forward. Yeah, I got a blanket right there. Tilt it on that. Get the bottom cover off and then see what we're up to. So we took the cover off. Not difficult. There's supposed to be 6 of these 3/8 screws that hold it on, self-tappers, so to speak. There were only, well, there were 4 of them in there, so I guess that's really pretty good. So I'm trying to figure out the best way of doing this so you guys could see what you're up to. There's this broken spring and this broken spring. And as near as I could tell, what this one should be doing is disengaging the auger. That's what that one should be doing. Right. And then when you squeeze this guy, you can see how it pulls it tight. And once again, loose. And when you squeeze this, just want to make sure you guys can actually see it. There you go. Maybe now. See how it pulls tight? So that's what I think this one should be doing. Then this guy, I think this guy is supposed to be pulling this up such that when you engage, right, you pull this guy into the rubber disc and the whole thing goes forward. So it looks like I need to go through the hoard downstairs and see if I can find a couple of springs. Looks like there was a mouse or something at some point that visited in here. So I gotta go dig around for some springs. I mean, other than that, this looks real nice. The gearbox looks good. I don't see anything bad going on. So, okay. By the way, made by our friends in Canada. So for the drive problems, I'm going to go with 2 because this this should also be pulled tighter to disengage the auger, right? The last thing you want to do is let go of that because there's a problem and have the auger keep spinning. So both problems were related to broken springs. Now there's one of 2 things you could do about it. You could, well, 3 things. You could go get the real spring, right, from MTD, right? Order 2 springs. But if it's snowing and you got to get going, that's not going to work for you. This is the spring that was here, went from here to there. Right. And you can see where it snapped off right there. What I did with this is I just heated it up with the torch and I gave it a little bend and it seems solid. That's not the best way to do it. If you're going to do it that way, then the second thing you should probably do is order a set from MTD. That way, while you're snow blowing the driveway and it snaps again right in the middle of your efforts, as far as you could be from the garage, from a heated garage, you could drag it back in and fix it for a second time with the right parts. So that's one thing you could do. You could also go through the hoard, and it turns out I have a bunch of springs downstairs. These are from I don't know if you guys remember them. Some of you are cigarette machines. It was kind of a tall thing that had a bunch of pull levers on it. Well, all those pull levers, remember, they would go back in. Well, there were springs on it, and I was scrapping out one of those cigarette machines, and I laid my hands on a whole load of these springs. So you could, in the case of this one, I'm going to be a little short, but I might be able to go with 2 of them. So that might be the solution, or once again, you could kind of bend and end up with a little extra spring tension. Well, actually, no, not really. Because the spring is pulled all the way, pulled back against the full tension. So I guess with a little more tension on the spring, but the pull would be the same if you shorten it a little. I already slipped one of those springs on here, right? And from here, quite honestly, I could just hook it back here, kind of use this whole thing as a pull. So anyway, I'm going to put it back together, then I'll show you what I did. So I got the springs fixed for that part. I just went with the 2 cigarette machine springs, so to speak, which is enough to loosen those so it won't slip. For the wheel drive, I ended up heating it up and reforming the I-ring right there. I'm going to order another one of these springs. They're cheap enough. As a matter of fact, I'll probably order that too. I mean, what could they be? $10. And once I do that, this machine will be a rock solid machine. It shifts really easily up and down the gears. I clean this up. Remember, this is a friction wheel. Do not get anything on it. For the bearings, wheel and so forth, I just put a couple of drops of WD-40 on there. Some of you will say, well, you know, that's really not very good. It won't lubricate it very well. What is this thing going to do? Go up and down my driveway 30 times this year? And then next year, if I service it again, put a little WD-40, should make everything fine. So she's all set up. All I have to do is put it back together again. We'll give it a start, check functionality, and we should be good. Okay, here we are. It's all put back together again. Let's say it's ready to go. Now, what I did was, remember, I used the double cigarette machine springs to disengage the auger. It appears as if that might not be quite enough, and I extended the spring for this guy. I heated the end of it up with the torch, rebent it, extended it for this. I could do that with the other guy also. I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is order the right springs. They're both easy enough to change. What you do is to change this one, you just unscrew the cable from its mooring there, slide the old spring up and off, slide the new one down, hook it up, adjust the length of the cable, and you're all good. For the other spring, it's just a matter of stretching it into position. I think that's the best way to do that. I don't like, not that I lend out my stuff or that I'm going to sell this or anything, but it's just not good if, you know, the thing's running and you walk by it and it happens to, you know, grab you or something. You could stop it with your hand, but still, you know, if it gets a little, winds up on you a little bit, or as it gets hot, it drags a little bit more. You know, no use getting hurt by a snowblower, you know. That's just everything on this moves nice and easy, right? I mean that's absolutely beautiful. Everything engages nice. It's a nice snowblower. One of my buddies, for his, he keeps a clamp here, so he just slides it over that to lock the auger. It makes it a little easier. It makes it a little more dangerous. You could do the same with this, right? You could just slide something on it and lock it. Makes it easier. You just got to steer, but once again, it makes it more dangerous. So yeah, this is a nice unit. Next time it snows, I'm going to use it, and we'll see how it turns out. I do not have the auger extenders on this one. I have it on the Cub Cadet. So, but I'm going to try this one out, see how it does. It's a little wider than my other one. My other one's a 524. This is an 826. So that gives you, you know, 4 extra inches, you know, every, I don't know, 5th or 6th pass. Kind of saves you one, you know, not huge difference. 8 horsepower, especially with the auger extensions on it. I imagine this thing would blow snow like a crazy machine. So it's done. I want to thank everybody for watching and commenting and subscribing. These longer videos take a lot more time, like dramatically more time to put together. This is basically, I don't know what went into this, 5 pieces, five short pieces, 4 or 5 short pieces. If I'm just doing a stand and shoot, so to speak, and I just put that video right up, it takes, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. When I do videos like this, first I got to put them into the video editor and stitch them all together. That takes a little while, and then you gotta download it onto your computer and watch it all stitched together to make sure it's proper. Then, you know, putting it up, typically these stitched together videos could be longer, so that takes a little more time. I don't know how much you guys like these stitched together videos. Hopefully you like them a lot, because it is a lot more time consuming. And what it does is it cuts into the amount of time I could answer comments, right? You know, there's so many hours in a day, and one has so many responsibilities they have to deal with, right? So you put the time where you can. So anyway, just a quick comment. Once again, thanks for watching and commenting and subscribing. Please remember to keep your feet down, your heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.